Hey everyone, how you doing? In my other video, we talked about a Google Jamboard and made a tutorial titled Jamboards in Google are awesome. So if you're new to Jamboard, you could go back to that video. But here's a couple updates. One, super quick on the sticky notes. You can now make a transparent sticky note. So easy enough when you change colors. Let's see. So when we just have our note and we can edit it to whatever color we want, but we could also make it transparent, still being able to drag it around and use it as we wish. So that's an easy one. I'll go ahead and get rid of that. But more importantly, I think is setting the background. Now we've talked about how we can have different backgrounds, but now we're able to upload our own picture, and this totally just changes the game with everything. So think about all that we do with Google Slides. Now we can kind of do the same thing with Google Jamboard. And I know one of the kind of issues with Jamboard is, well, what if we set something up, then we send students in here, then they can just, go ahead and delete anything that we're doing, move it around, that kind of thing. So what I suggest is making something, then we'll make that as a background. We won't be able to move it anymore. There's a couple ways to do it. So whether you want to be super pretty and time consuming when we're doing it, or if you want to just do it very quickly, like I talked about, you can do it in Google Meet. So if you're just using it as a whiteboard, notes for students, something to do quickly, I'll show you a couple different ways to do it. So one easy way is if you just hopped over yet another tab open, like in a Google Doc, then we could create something like just make a simple table. So maybe we want to make a table here. Let's say we're doing pro and con, and then we could just simply screen capture, and then we could go ahead and go back to our Jamboard. Let me go ahead and make a new one here so it's nice and clean for us here. And then I'll just paste it on there. And of course, we know when we enlarge things, sometimes, they'll come out a little bit fuzzy. But if you notice, it is looking pretty good. That was very fast. So if we want to just set something up so it'll be there, but again, students could still move it around. So then let's say we set everything up exactly how we want it here. Then all we have to do is make this a background. So we could think, well, how are the different ways that we're going to make something as a background? Now, like, we could create it right here, like we just did, then simply go to the three dots here. We could save frame as an image. So it's just going to simply save that. It's called sample two. It just named it off sample here. Then all we're going to have to do is go to set background, choose that image, upload that image now that we just saved on our computer. So where was it? Sample two, right? Sorry for being so slow there. So we'll just sample two. Then when we go ahead and open that, that'll put it as our background. Now, obviously, since I was using it as the same slide, now I still had my other on top. So I could delete that one and it came out as a background. If you notice it, it is a little fuzzy, doesn't look quite perfect. Because it was saving a picture, it wasn't saving a high quality picture. But if you're doing something very quickly, then students won't be able to move this around or anything, but they'll still be able to do whatever they need to on there. So that would be a way of taking something, creating something in a Google Doc, or again, you could be doing it in a drawing. You could create a drawing from Google Drawing, do the same type of idea. You could even do it just right out of our Jamboard. So if you had a Jamboard, and then you could just create it right out of there. So let's go ahead and just make a new Jamboard. So let's say we were making something just with our shapes. Now you could just use your shape tool however you want. You could easily make your boxes however you like, change those colors in your boxes, keep them the same, whatever works for you. And the same process would work for everything that you're doing and keeping your labels and everything that you need. So we could create it in a Google Doc, we could create it in our Jamboard. Or what is awesome is you can do it from a Google slide. So since you have so many beautiful Google slides out there, then you could take a Google slide and then the same thing will work. Now, I'll show you a couple different things because I know some of you really care about quality out there, like I do. And you're like, oh no, it looks a little fuzzy sometimes, and that bothers you, like on these. So I'll go ahead and show you a couple here. So let me get a clean one again for us here. Oops. Okay, now I'm going to set the background. All you have to do is save. I'm going to show you a couple of ways to save, but I want to show you the difference here first. So I'm going to go back to browse so I can look for it. And I have Untitled 1 and Untitled 2, and I want you to look at them. 54 kilobytes, and this one is 152. So basically triple the size, so it should be better quality. So on the first one, when we upload, we'll go ahead and check this out. You can see, hopefully you can see, it looks a little fuzzy, not too clear, doesn't look bad or anything. But if you do need that crystal clear picture, then we have another one. And like I said, about triple the size, so it should be more clear for us when we look. So hopefully it'll show up clear for you in the video so you can see the difference. But there's a much better difference in the quality. And then once again, we won't be able to click on anything. We won't be able to change anything or anything else. So if you had a great slide. Now, what was the difference in that quality? Well, if you didn't know, you could take one of your slides and go to File, Download, and you could download a JPEG. It simply just downloads this slide. So when I did that, it downloaded as the lower quality. So how could I change the quality on that picture? Well, it's the page setting, the page setup here in File. It's because you could make your page a different size. So if your page is small, then when it puts it on Jamboard, it's going to try to stretch it out to fill that screen, and you're going to lose quality. So if you had the right size screen, then it's not going to be changing your quality one way or another. Traditionally, your Google Slides are set up for 16 by 9, but you could go to Custom, go to Pixels, and then you're going to go ahead and change your pixels so it'll be HD. So your numbers will be 1920 by 1080, like 1080 full HD there, and then you apply. And if you notice, it's not going to look any different here. But then when I go to File, Download, same process, JPEG, then it's just going to make it look a little better. Now you could create things on your own and you could have them ready. You could download things, or people are starting to make some Jamboard slides, so like in Slide Mania. But again, you could use any Google slide that you want that would work. So what I would suggest is pick a few that you like, things that you normally use, cause and effect, a Frere model, anything, so you could already have those ready. They could already be in your Jamboard if you want, kind of like templates for Jamboards, and then you'll already be ready because you can always make a copy of Jamboard. So let's say you always like the same three, or you want to have a couple blank pages and a couple, you could just make a Jamboard that's blank with those templates on there, those pages you need, and just make a few copies for yourself so you always have it ready when you need to use it. And then you'll be all set. So hopefully that helps for you. And I'll link the other video if you need more on Jamboards and to explain everything. See you later.